YouTube video ever. My name is Olivia from the channel Making It Millennial, and I'm here to talk about something that I love, budgeting. I find budgeting to be so much fun, from the initial act of breaking down the budget to the act of stuffing my cash envelopes. I'm just so excited to be starting this journey to a debt-free and savings-filled life. So I hope you will join me. On my table right now, I have all of my budgeting materials. So my cash envelopes, my $1 bill box, my notebook, and a pen and a highlighter. Today, though, we're just going to be starting off with the process of breaking down our budget to see what's really needed for a month of spending. So all we need today is a notebook and a pen. Typically, I write out my initial monthly budget in pencil so that I can adjust where needed, but I've already run through the numbers for our May monthly budget, so I wrote it in pen so you guys could see it easier. So as you can see here, this is my monthly breakdown for our budget. Up here, I've just written down what our monthly expenses are. This part's really important for starting off a budget. It's super important for you to know what you actually are spending your money on. Where is it going? What are different areas that you can cut out? You'll notice right off the bat, my husband and I have subscriptions to Hulu and Netflix. When I first started writing out my monthly budget, we also had a subscription to Disney Plus that I just had to say, okay, do we use it enough to be paying for it, or is it something that we can let go of for a little bit? And that ended up being one that we could just cancel and save that extra $7 a month. So writing out what your monthly expenses are is a super beneficial way to see what's really important, where your money is going, and then helps you ultimately budget what you absolutely need. So the categories that I ended up keeping are rent, Wi-Fi, Hulu, Netflix, gas, electric, transportation, meaning like gas for our cars, groceries, our phone bill, car insurance, Amazon Prime, and our monthly church tithing. So some of these expenses are the same amount every month and they don't change, like our rent and Wi-Fi, our Hulu, our Netflix, our Amazon, and our church. Those are all steady expenses. They don't vary from one month to the next. Our rent is always going to be $1,700. Wi-Fi is always going to be the same, etc. But our gas, electric, transportation, groceries, phone, and car insurance, all of those bills vary slightly from month to month. Sometimes they're a little bit higher, sometimes they're a little bit lower. So when I was writing out our monthly budget, when I was breaking everything down, the numbers that I wrote in automatically were for our steady expenses. So I filled those amounts in automatically. That way I knew exactly how much those would be every month. For the expenses like our gas, electric, transportation, groceries, phone, and car insurance, what I did that helped me was I had my bank account and my bank statements open so that I could see roughly sort of what the highest amount that we were spending was. Then I just sort of rounded up to the nearest dollar amount. For gas and electric, I am budgeting us $30 each per month. That's on the high side, and it hasn't been that high in a while, but I just wanted to sort of budget extra. That way any savings that we have can go towards our cash envelopes, but we'll talk about our savings a little bit later. For transportation, for our gas, I am a teacher currently, but with the whole pandemic and quarantine going on, we've been doing virtual learning, so online, so I haven't needed to go anywhere. And also at the end of this month, I won't be working at all. I'll be on maternity leave and I will just be transitioning to a stay-at-home mama. So my gas bill will practically be at zero. However, my husband does drive a little bit of a bigger and older truck, so his gas amount is a little bit higher than mine. Typically monthly it's around $100, But again, my goal with this is to budget higher than what's needed. That way I have savings rather than, oh no, how do I scrounge up $50 more? Groceries, I decided to give us a budget of $100 a week. I thought that would be a pretty good way to budget that out for just the two of us. So that comes to around $400 a month. You'll see here also, I take my grocery savings and factor that in, but again, we'll talk about that later. Our phone and our car insurance vary slightly, but are typically around the same amount every month. So again, on the higher side, it was $240 and $360 respectively, so I budgeted a little bit higher up. Once I have all of the amounts written down for my monthly expenses, I totaled them up and added them right here. So my total monthly expense right now is $3,032.96. So we have to make sure that we are making at least that just to be running things as normal. Below here, like I said, I do budget on the higher side. So this is there's a little bit of wiggle room, but I want to pretend that there's not. So for my groceries, I try to stay as under $100 as possible every week. These first 2 weeks of May have been a little bit harder because my husband and I did just finish moving, so I wasn't able to grocery shop like in one big trip like I normally do, and we had to replace a couple of things that were expired from the old apartment or just got eaten up really quickly. So I take my $100 per week and I subtract what I actually spend to show myself the savings for that week. At the end of the month, I'll add up each weekly savings, total that right here, and then highlight it. So I can't fill this whole thing out right now because it's only May 14th. So we're in the middle of the month. I won't be able to finish this until the end of the month, but it is good to keep updated. For my utilities, meaning my gas and electric bill, again, I have $30 budgeted. My gas bill has already come in. From the $30 budgeted, our bill was only $22.85, which is a savings of $7.15. When my electric bill comes in, I'll do the same. I'll write 30 minus whatever the bill actually is, total these up, write them on the total line, and highlight them. At the end of the month, my total savings from my groceries, from my utilities, from phone and car insurance, anything like that, I'll total them up and I'll write them in this box for my May savings, which will eventually be what I pull out in cash to stuff our envelopes with. So that is how I break down our monthly budget. Those were the numbers that worked for my husband and I. Again, you might have things on here like Disney Plus. That might be something that your kiddos watch for 5 hours a day that you're like, absolutely not, I'm not getting rid of that. You'll just add that in. Maybe your grocery bill is only $200 a month. Maybe you don't have Amazon Prime, things like that. Everybody's numbers are going to be different and everybody's categories are going to be different also. But hopefully this gives you sort of an idea of what should be considered a monthly expense and how to best break it down for you. Thank you so much for watching my very first video. I hope this helps inspire you to sit down and break down your monthly budget and find what works for you or any areas that you can work on. We will go through actually stuffing the envelopes in the next video, and I can't wait to see you all there. So leave me a comment below if you're like me and love to budget, or if budgeting to you is like folding laundry to me, which means it is the bane of your existence. All right, see you all in the next one. Bye.